all. Today's lesson is based on solid geometry, grade 10, or we call it Form 4. Now, there's a way in which they ask the question. Firstly, what we need to understand that, once again, this question in grade 10 is normally on paper 1. Paper 1 is in first angle orthographic projection. Therefore, we should treat it in such a way that we understand that concept that is in paper 1. However, it doesn't mean that it will always be on first angle orthographic projection. But let us start now. A typical question that they will give you, it's whereby they have the front view only. They just give you the front view, assuming that this is the front view that has been given to you. Then they say that this diagram is showing you the front view. So this will be the front view. That's what they are showing you. Now, let's assume that they say it's a right square prism, and they give you the base edge to be, let's say, 30 or 40. It's a square prism. Now, let us assume, as now what you need to think is, how are you going to place your top view with regards to this? You've got two options. There is option 1 of your square, and there is option 2 of your square. So each time they give the front view and they tell you the shape, that, like, for example, this is a square, and now you need to make a decision as to which square fits perfectly with the front view. Obviously it will not be number 2, rather number 1, sorry, because if we say it's number 1, it means that if we project these corners up, that's what we're getting. So there is no middle line there. But if we project this number 2, so it's fitting with what you have here as the front view, because then it means this will be perfect in terms of showing you that this view and that view correspond. So the answer is number 2. So that is a first step that each person needs to take in understanding this, because they will always give you the front view only, or they may assist you with an auxiliary view, that is. So how then do you interpret this? They will ask you to draw a front view, which is given. They will ask you to draw the top view, of course. Then they will ask you to draw either the left view or the right view. One of these views must be used. Now, you cannot start with the front view, of course, not at all. This is just helping you of what the front view will look like. But we start with the top view. So I call this number 1. Then you go to the front view, number 2. Then you do number 3 last. That's the order which I prefer to do this. But you will never have the front view without the top view. So at all times, you need to start with the top view. Like how I've already done this drawing here. So there we go. I already drawn my top view. Alright, from the given front view that I had. So let's call this number 1, let's call that number 2, that's number 3, and this is number 4. Now, since this is a prism will have a bottom base and a top base. Let's assume that they give the height of 60 or 70. Let's just use 70. So what then needs to be done is you need to project from number 1 up. Now look at 2 and 4. 2 and 4 both on the same position. There's 2 and 4. Then we project number 3. It goes to the front view. So that's how it's going to be projected going up. So what then it means? Now I need to get this height here, which is 70. So this is how far 70 goes. That is 70. right? Then this is my front view. Now the front view that I have at the moment is a projected front view, is still under construction. That is why everything is light. Now I want you to bring this to your attention, that this line here is known to be an XY ground line. You can always call this X1, Y1. Now what happens with the XY ground line? It means that the base of this view should not be sitting on the XY line, simply because we want to know as to how far dark is the line. Because if you make it sit on the XY line, it then doesn't show us where it stops. So it's either use 5 millimeters above the XY line or 10. In this case, I've used 5 millimeters. So what number is this? This is number 1. What number is on top? That is 1. What number is here at the end here? It's 3. And then on top is also number 3. So I'm left with 2 here and 4. Alright, so likewise on top there's 2 there and there's 4. So what I need to do now is I need to darken this drawing here, which is my front view, because it is now a complete front view of this square prism. So now there is my complete front view. Number 1, that's number 1. Number 2, project up. Number 3, project up. Number 4 and number 2, same position, project up. So this is what I'm looking for in terms of my front view. Now I need to project the left view. Now remember, when we talk about the left view, it means that is the position of which you shall be standing and looking at in order to get the left view. Likewise here, this is the position which you are looking at this object in order to get the right view, or rather the left view, which will be drawn on the right hand side. Okay, so now I need to project number 4 to 45 degrees. Number 1 is in line with number 3, they go to 45 degrees. Number 2, it goes to 45 degrees. That's the first thing that I need to do in order to get my left view. That's 4, that's 1, and that's 2. Now I need to project them up to this position here. So using my at 45 degrees, I will then draw vertical lines which are construction lines. They go up. Likewise here number 1 and 3 goes up. Likewise here number 4 goes up. Now it means here, if you read here, follow number 4 is there, so that's number 4. Number 1 and 3, 1 and 3 is there. This is number 2. So that I have an understanding that at the bottom, or the bottom base, have the numbers. Then I now do the top base, which is just a construction. So at the moment I have the construction of my left view, which then I need to make it dark. Now you have your left view complete. Now, in order to understand why things are dark, standing at this position, this is where you are standing in order to get that view. So in this position you'll see point 2. That's why point 2 is dark. You'll see point 3. That's why line 3 is dark. You'll see 4. That's why number 4 is dark. Can you see number 1? No. But number 3 is blocking number 1, which is why if you don't see number 1, it becomes hidden detail. However, because there is number 3 before number 1, then number 3 is that what you see. That's why we make it dark. Likewise with the top, when you draw the front view, this is the position on which you should be looking at your drawing. That will be the position. So the question will be, what is it that I see? I see number 1, that's why number 1 is dark. Number 4, yes, at this position I see number 4. That's why number 4 is dark. But number 2 is on the other side. I don't see number 2. However, number 4 comes before number 2. So number 4 blocks number 2. So you see number 4, then you make number 4 dark. Number 3 is also seen from this direction. Therefore, that's why number 3 is dark in the front view. Just a basic of the solid geometry in grade 10. Some can use it in grade 9 or grade 8. Thank you.